Well, it says we're live.
It was. So, how about the optics on the ficus who a month ago had his Hanes in a half hitch about a bunch of unarmed, LARPing, buffalo head wearing frat boys almost taking over the United States government, now saying, oh, to defeat the US government, you require nukes and F 15s. Can he make up his damn mind?
Listen, that entire speech was just a laundry list of every wet dream that the liberals have ever had about gun control.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. It was just about gun control.
Actually, his actual statement was, those who say the blood of patriots, and all that stuff about how we're going to have to move against the government. If you think you need to have weapons to take on the government, you need F-15s and maybe some nuclear weapons. Shades of Swalwell, anyone?
Well, it's apparently he can do it with a buffalo head and some war paint.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of Swalwell,
Swallow well?
yeah, have you seen the new ad he has for an assistant?
Does it state anywhere no Chinese spies need apply?
No, but he's trying to fill that little hole in his heart. God bless him. He apparently the ad says will only consider women and minorities.
Oh,
Which he was a lot of woke material, but behind it all, there's this. I'm not getting laid anymore.
oh,
Because Ping Ping Jing Jing, whatever her name was,
Fang Fang, which I thought Fang Fang was a particularly apropos.
she skipped the country about 3 seconds ahead of a federal ahead of the feds and handcuffs, and yeah.
Well, you know that there's a Sparrow class somewhere in China going, no, not me. Don't pick me.
Yeah.
Don't send me to that.
Well, yeah, the thing is, they can send whoever they want because the Dems don't care.
Yeah,
They
don't.
traditionally
They
have
literally
absolutely no concern about security at all.
If a Republican had been caught with a Chinese spy in his bed,
Yeah.
not only would he no longer be on the Intelligence Committee,
Yeah.
but there'd be calls to censure him in Congress.
Oh, yeah.
Swalwell gets caught banging a Chinese spy, and he keeps his Intelligence Committee.
Well,
What the hell? Look at Feinstein.
Oh God!
and her
Do I
20-year
have to?
driver slash handler.
Yeah, Stephanie comes up or has a good comment. So I saw a comparison. So if you need all that, what's the big deal about unarmed folks wandering around the Capitol building?
Yeah.
It was
That's a good question.
I guess the war paint and the buffalo head must have really been magic because
the shamanism.
yeah, must have actually
Yeah.
been magic.
If they'd been wearing green earth symbols,
Yeah,
it
that would have been fine.
that would have been the right kind of religious magic.
Yeah.
But Hunter Biden has in bed with him, almost literally, the Ukrainians, the Russians, the Chinese, somebody else.
I'm just waiting for him to start fighting over his soul.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
his beds. I mean, Swalwell. But Biden's bed is crowded.
Well, and that's another thing. Here's the ficus in chief, the proud papa of Hunter Biden, saying that we need to start cracking down on people that attempt to unlawfully purchase weapons.
Yeah.
Your baby boy is
Yeah.
on record trying that there, Scooter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even better, he had to pay Hunter's bill with the Russian hooker
That's embarrassing.
out of
If
his
you-
credit card.
If you
Apparently, Hunter,
Well, don't tell me it was a
If-
government credit card.
if
it
you have,
was.
Oh, Jesus
Apparently,
Christ.
Hunter had Daddy's credit card, and that's how he paid for the Russian hooker, $8,000 for a day and a half. Apparently,
guys, listen to me.
Wow.
Listen to me. It's something your daddy's never taught you. Probably should have. Don't ever pay a hooker with a credit card.
yeah.
Cash only.
It leaves a trail that is a mile wide, and B, they really hate it when you swipe that card
Yeah.
down their credit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you did not go there.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the race to the gutters. But something your daddy's taught you. Don't pay a
At
hooker on
least you
credit.
didn't have to insert it to read the chip.
Did you really, Jim?
He's like, but- and then she tells
Everybody
you-
else went there, so
And then she told you have to read.
You're having way too much fun with
Oh,
that.
yeah.
John says when he was in the Air Force, a guy paid with his American Express, and they sent him a letter, apparently.
That's it? A letter?
The American Express was not happy with it.
Oh, American Express sent him a letter. Oh, okay.
From what I've learned about American Express, cast no stones, guys.
No, well, they don't care.
I know.
I mean, they have, what is the unobtainium one that you can, it's got no limit and you can
Yeah.
do whatever you want with it, but
Apparently, and only accepted in very few locations.
yes.
Jerry says maybe Hunter needed those receipts for his tax returns.
And it's
If you-
official. He's
if you-
asking 500,000 a piece for his artwork. This is,
He can ask all he
seen it?
wants.
Have you seen the artwork?
Oh, I know. but I
Okay,
can imagine.
remember in first and second grade during art class when they gave you the straw and you blew paint on it?
Oh,
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I was going macaroni on construction paper.
No, this
Uh,
is
even better.
this is because macaroni. I guess you need more supplies. No, he's first off, he's an
So
expert
he-
with the straw
And
anyway.
fixes he's dual purposing a straw.
So you sit the straw and you blow paint, it gets little bubbles on, and this is what he's selling for $500,000 a piece, and people are buying it.
No,
Cedar,
they're
you
not
need to
buying it.
change the type of drawing you're doing.
They're not buying it. He's using it as
His dad's using it as a money laundering. tool,
Yes.
Yeah.
people aren't
Yeah.
buying that crap. He's money laundering.
Steph
Right.
says, I thought you weren't supposed to leave home without it. Yeah, not so much. In truly sad news, there was a building collapse this morning in Sunrise, Florida.
It happened at like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, 1:30, 2:30.
Yeah, it was just.
The video is up. Miguel, one of our
Maybe
friends, found a copy of the
surveillance.
surveillance tape from another building. And it shows 12 floors going down in less than 10 seconds. Right now, they're saying 51 missing and 1 dead and 1 survivor. But I'm afraid that's not going to be a search and rescue. That's going to be a search and recovery.
Recovery.
Yeah, well, when you get 12 stories that compact down to 3,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty tight.
Tomato sauce.
Yeah, it's my first thought when I saw the video was World Towers.
Yeah,
There we go again.
The spokespeople down there kind of slipped up this morning because when asked, they said, yes, we've deployed cadaver dogs. They didn't say we've deployed rescue dogs.
Yeah.
Especially though, yeah.
So they weren't all that optimistic either.
No,
No, I was watched it and thought,
the people that they've recovered so far, they recovered from the remains of the floors that didn't come down.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I hate to say it, but Florida and their boom threw a whole bunch of shit together.
I mean, this building stood for 40 years.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was constructed shoddily. I think it was more, something was going on that they hadn't planned for, and it just failed.
Yeah, Josh
I
makes
was-
a good point. Those flats were for $500,000 apiece. But
I
it's
was-
oceanside.
I was
Yes.
born in a building that was built 2,000 years ago and was still standing.
Well,
It didn't use rebar.
that and the fact that, I mean, that's the only place they could put down the ritual of the satanic symbols on the floor.
Well,
To raise you.
Yes.
You redheaded soulless.
The
Yeah, I was born in a hospital in Malta that had been built by the Knights of Malta, or somebody before that, almost 2,000
And it
years
didn't
ago.
get bombed out in World War II?
Oh, there were bomb pockmarks all over it, but the walls were 3 feet thick.
Yeah.
the bombs bounced.
Yeah.
Like most of Malta at the time.
You know, the bad part is rebar and salt water don't get along.
No, God, no.
We had a barracks that we lived in Bermuda on deployment. It had been built in World War II. And we always joked you could jump up and down and make the building shake.
That wasn't a joke.
Well, it wasn't a joke, you're right. Josh,
The devil was that?
Josh says he thought you were going to say you were born in Petra.
No. No, I was born in a place older than Petra.
But anyway, when they went to, they finally did declare the building as unsuitable, and we left, and they were going to tear the base down and rebuild it. So they were taking a practice swing with the ball and hammer, or the ball on the crane, and they hit the corner of the building and the whole building fell down. And it was like,
I've
that's
told you,
interesting.
my barracks at Fort Campbell were constructed as temporary POW barracks during World War II.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm familiar with being able to jump up and down, the whole building shakes.
Well,
Yeah.
Tank Hill at Fort Jackson.
Oh yeah.
You sneeze and the whole building went wobble, 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 wobble.
Yeah, but anyway, they when they got to looking at it, there was no rebar left in the entire building.
It was all rust lace.
It had rusted
whole
away.
with rusty color in it, yeah.
So they went over the enlisted barracks and they went, tink, bud. Maybe it's a good thing the Navy left when it did.
All you
Well-
need for is get out of the rubble.
Yeah.
It's just because I know the contractors are going, well, we're about 2 weeks ahead of schedule now, and this is a cost plus
Yeah.
contract. I think I just made a bunch of money.
No, it was built in World War II, so there was no cost plus. It was throw it up and go.
Oh, no, the guy's tearing it down.
Oh,
Yeah.
The guy's tearing it down. We're like, yeah,
we're 2 weeks ahead of schedule.
I'm just going to take these and put them in my pocket, and we'll be done.
Yeah. Hey, Don, you did make it.
Which Don?
Yeah,
Go.
girl.
Oh, congratulations on maybe.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Or what?
She said she had a meeting and it might involve something good. So
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesse goes, that's what I don't like about 3D printed concrete houses and buildings.
No.
Yeah, they're still working on ways to support, to insert rebar and supports, because there is none when they 3D printed.
Well, it's just
no, you've got a very homogeneous material.
Yeah.
the whole 3D printing buildings. I would like to have another 10 years of testing and development behind it before people start actually living in them.
Well,
And Don says, no answer yet. The phrasing they were using was promising. Where have I heard that before?
Okay. Well, knock on wood for you.
Kind of, yeah. Of course, the here to talk to you about your cars and your extended warranty. Yeah. Yeah, Josh, that would be interesting if she was the new chief deputy.
Sweet.
There would be people running for cover.
Oh Lord.
Speaking of running for cover,
Uh-oh.
apparently Camel Toe has actually deigned to visit the border.
You know
today.
why?
No. Oh,
You know
this is so
why?
good.
Yeah.
You know where she's visiting?
El Paso.
Yes. You know how far El Paso is from Brownsville?
Yeah.
Farther than Chicago is from Washington, D.C.
Well, the reason why she's down there.
She's not visiting the border.
No,
Well,
She's going down for some Mexican food and then leaving.
the border does go through El Paso.
well,
Right,
the question
right,
would
but
be,
that's
will
not-
she go onto the border for lunch?
Right.
Oh, yeah, really?
But El Paso's not the problem area.
No, it's not.
And she is in fact, El Paso's as far away as you can get from a problem area because there
Yeah.
is fence and bridge and
river.
and actual river.
Yeah.
Not something you can wade across there, and they don't cross there. They cross at Brownsville, or they cross in the middle of
McAllen.
or Sweetwater, or
Yeah.
wherever where they can wade across and.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh, you're right. El Paso is overrun too, but they're all flooding into the Rio Grande Valley and then running up the border to
Oh, they're getting bused there because that's
Yeah,
where the
they're
detention
getting
the holding
bused there.
facility
El
are.
Paso.
Well, the reason why what's her nuts, you don't use that lightly, is gone to the border is because President Trump announced he would be going down to the border. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, she had to get down there with a quickness.
And there is apparently no plan for any kind of speech or determination or policy.
As fast as she threw it together, they didn't have the time.
What do you mean
And-
fast? She has been,
No, it gets even better.
she's been the czar for more than 90 days now.
Yeah.
There is no fast.
Guess
throwing
who's
it
not
together.
invited?
The media?
Oh no, Abbott isn't invited.
Nobody in the Texas
Government.
That's because they're all meeting with Trump.
Yeah, because Abbott actually invited Trump.
Yeah, Trump's gone there. He's going to meet with Abbott and the ICE people and the Border Patrol commissioner and all this. And he announced it, yesterday or the day before?
Yeah.
And then she didn't have enough time. She wasn't planning ever going down the border.
Oh, God, no.
And then Trump made this announcement: I'm going to meet with Governor Abbott and the commissioner of the Border Patrol and the head cheese at ICE. And all of a sudden, she's down there.
Yeah.
But she had to throw it together so quick, their oppressors couldn't throw anything together.
Yeah, and they just fired the head of the Border Patrol.
This is not a surprise.
Yeah.
Because.
Yeah, Josh says the Rio Grande and El Paso is usually only inches deep, and it is a hot zone except compared to the rest of the border. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
There's fencing there that you don't.
There is fencing, but it's only chain link.
Yeah.
No. The stuff I saw was actual metal bars and everything. Yeah.
Well, that's right at the border crossing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the entire town. It's just.
Yeah.
Again,
once you get beyond
where they're all crossing at is not there. It's McAllen and Brownsville and down, because it's that area is farther south, then they can get there quicker. And
well, also the folks in El Paso will snitch them out with quickness.
Yeah.
It's getting that way to be anywhere on the border now.
Yeah.
When you consider that Abbott has emptied out a prison and they are arresting border crossers.
The problem is they can't arrest them for crossing the border.
Nope.
They get them for things like vagrancy.
Yeah.
And trespassing.
Trespassing, yes. We don't have vagrancy laws in Texas anymore.
Oh, I thought you mentioned that. But how long can you hold them on trespassing?
Well, that's the thing. Trespassing, under general circumstances, is a Class B misdemeanor, which is 6 months in county jail.
Yeah.
However, it's a conviction.
So if they're convicted, they get to go back across the border.
It removes their ability to come in for X amount of time.
Yeah.
I know.
The guy who got arrested for killing the girl had crossed how many times?
Yeah, good point.
5.
5 or 6 times, and it was one of these where they would catch him, and the next day he'd be crossing the border again.
Yeah.
So it's much like a getting the.
Well, in Texas, this is putting them into the Texas State database.
The facial
biometric database.
Yeah.
So Texas is going to start checking everybody at the border and going, oh, fuck no, get out.
The other interesting part is that apparently the left is already screaming because that prison is not air conditioned.
None of them are.
Yeah.
Texas doesn't air condition their prison.
Where's this prison at?
It's the closest one to the border down there.
Oh, okay.
It's Texas. I mean,
is it Gillum?
Hang on.
Anyway, they're emptying out a 1,000-bed prison, moving the prisoners to other prisons in the state.
Yeah, 1,000 bed is, I hate to say this, a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna empty out 1,000 prisoners, and they're gonna have to shove 27,000 crossers in there.
Wayne, I just didn't give him any choice. I just pushed the camera back.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah Singleton, how goes it? Oh, Sarah Clitheroe.
Holy crap, it's the Briscoe unit in Dilley.
Yeah,
Woo!
Briscoe. That's it.
Woo!
Oh,
It's southwest of San Antonio, Jim.
okay, yeah. I knew it was down there close.
I want to hear what the sound of bacon sizzling sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Koala says 1,000 beds were filled in 1 hour in Del Rio. Yep.
Well, that's the thing of it. If he's stuffing them in there, and then because Class B misdemeanors is a county court law or county judge trial, you can do you have to do a Class B misdemeanor fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So if they have public defenders standing by and a DA or a county attorney standing by, they can
run them through very quickly.
Oh yeah, because plea bargain on a Class B misdemeanor is like that. So hook them up, throw them in there, give them 3 hots and a cut in front of a judge. You're convicted. Get out. Oh, smile for the biometrics and throw them back over the border.
Yep. Yeah. RK says, glad I'm wearing my Hawaiian shirt. Like to blend in. Hey, it's the best covered garment around.
It hides a multitude of sins.
Yep. And fat bellies.
I've been in a lot of places with more hardware than people knew I had.
Yeah.
Well, in those cases, somebody look at me and go, "Yep, he's paranoid." I'm not paranoid. I'm just prepared.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, it's also up in the 90s here today again.
Woof,
95.
95. Okay.
woof.
But the other thing that's kind of interesting about the whole thing is the screaming on the left about how Texas can't arrest people, much less the Florida, South Carolina, and Georgia and other troopers that are coming in to assist.
It's federal crimes that Abbott was going on about. They can't arrest them for federal stuff.
They can damn sure arrest them for violation of Texas law,
Texas
though,
law,
yeah.
which is what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's what Abbott is
Yep.
empowering them to do.
Yeah.
Criminal mischief or criminal trespass and criminal mischief are Texas state. It's Texas state penal
Yeah.
code. And by God, if you can say, "Hey, these guys from Georgia have the minimum training to be a peace officer,"
Yeah.
get on the board.
Yeah, bless you.
Get
Go
on
arrest
board.
people. Yeah.
Here's your powers of arrest, search, and seizure. Get on the board.
They are skirting the Posse Comitatus Act though.
No, they're not.
With the National Guard.
National
No?
Guard is not being used to arrest anybody.
Right. Okay. They're just there taking over some of the logistics.
That's exactly right.
Don
The-
says they got 107 yesterday up there, and she sunburned herself.
Oh, I hate when that
Yeah,
happens.
they're calling for rain all next week.
What I
Yeah.
love is the fact that the Texas Department of Public Safety on the border has better armed battle wagons than the feds do.
Oh yeah,
Have you seen those gunboats that they're running down the Rio?
yep.
Yeah,
they
but they're,
look suspiciously like Mark 11s.
they're not all surplus from Vietnam because none of those came back.
Now Koala says, good news. CBP page says, fiscal year to date, Southern Borders only caught 928,868 folks.
I'd do better next year.
That's since January.
Texas is going to do better next year.
Yeah, that's a
I hear New Mexico and Arizona are screaming blue bloody murder because the state of Texas ramping up borders is going to shift them all over to New Mexico and Arizona.
And California.
but California doesn't care.
Yeah.
Not really.
What's really weird is you've got first generation immigrants on the border are fed up with this, and
Oh.
they're traditionally the ones that vote Democrat.
Yeah.
It's the second and third generation where they start realizing, hey, wait a second, we've worked for this. They need to work
Well,
for
the
it too.
pre-first generation Tejanos are staunch conservative.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's just you've got a Democrat mayor on the border saying, no, this isn't playing.
Well, remembering that the Rio Grande Valley went strong Trump this last election, and
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of Democrats quietly and not in the papers lost their minds because that was a Democrat stronghold.
Yeah, the whole plan to turn Texas purple or blue.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kinda
haven't
by
heard about
the
that.
wayside.
Yeah, haven't heard anything about that for a while, have you?
Well, they were the liberal talking head on the 5 yesterday or the day before was talking about it, and she said, "Yeah, our plan to turn it blue just kind of crumbled."
Yeah.
I'm like, lady, it didn't crumble.
Yeah.
It imploded with the force that almost went nuclear.
Josh says New Mexico's already slammed as well from Santa Teresa to the Arizona line. Ow.
Well,
Oh, Dave Pasco says, found out some bright boy installed zero radiant barrier insulation in our attic and around our ducting.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well done, somebody.
Somebody had their head on straight.
Somebody spent more than one summer in San Angelo.
Yeah.
When I was working the oil field, I was out around Pecos area, and there was a 4-way stop that was turned into a 2-way because there just wasn't that many people living there.
Yeah.
And it was this beautiful 2-story city hall, and that was it.
Was that Pecos or was that Monahans?
It's a little place northwest of Pecos.
Peyote?
I can't remember the name of the.
Rattlesnake Air Force Base?
No.
okay.
This isn't.
Oh,
It's still listed as a town. Still has its own zip code, but there's like
oh,
a broken down trailer there, and that's it.
I know where you're
It's
talking
not
about.
Monahan's because Monahan's actually has a motel.
But the reason I thought of that is because you mentioned that they were getting out of jail. And there's a jail there. And
Oh, yeah.
it was built in like the 1830s. You know,
Yeah.
one of these. They literally had to import mud because mud hadn't made it to Texas yet to build the adobe for it. Yeah. I was hoping maybe they're sticking them in there.
Well, speaking of,
Langtree?
No, it was
It's either Mentone or Langtree.
Mentone.
Mentone,
Yes. Mentone. That was
Thank you, RK.
we were, the place we go hunting is down in Hamilton County in Central Texas. And they've got a courthouse that they've restored. Absolutely
it is
gorgeous
beautiful.
courthouse.
Yeah.
And I was in there and it was October, October-ish?
Yeah.
It was still comfortable. And I was looking at these giant high ceilings and the transom windows and the thick walls.
And
And,
that's how you stayed cool in the summer in Texas.
and all of the old buildings are built that way, and all of them are actually fairly comfortable. And I don't understand why the modern buildings, the modern LEED certified buildings,
Yeah.
don't do exactly the same thing. It's been working for 100 years.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive.
Okay?
High voltage ceilings are expensive.
Not as expensive as a LEED certification.
Josh says, Texas has had mud for millennia. See monsoon season and windstorms. That way the mud can be airborne.
That's the
Yeah, well, yeah, we would just like New Mexico to come get their mud back.
Yeah, every now and again the sky turns red and you realize that Mexico has just sent another wave.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I remember getting out of my squad car up in the Panhandle one time and being hit with 30-mile-an-hour caliche clay.
Yeah.
That was not fun.
Oh, apparently Moose is, Don's dog Moose, now thinks we're there because he's hearing her through the Bluetooth. So
Surf dog.
he's looking around for us like, where are they? Where are they? There are people here.
Dirt dog.
Oh,
Yeah, getting hit with 30-mile-an-hour caliche clay in the Panhandle is not fun.
oh yeah.
On the plus side, if you need to strip the paint off your car for
That's
redo
no
it,
kidding.
you just park it outside for a day.
That's when I decided I needed something a little more resilient than the Shepler's baseline duster.
Yeah.
Just the denim duster. Go for wax canvas, because the denim duster, when it's got 30 pounds of caliche clay driven into it,
It's a little heavy.
a little heavy and a little rigid.
Yeah, RK's a friend of mine I served with in the Navy. His dad was senior captain for American, and they bought a ranch south of Fort Worth. And the house on the ranch had been built in the 1800s, and it was adobe.
Mhm.
And it had the 3-foot thick walls,
Yeah.
and it had 3 fireplaces in the house. One that serviced the kitchen / oven and the living room, and then another one that serviced the back 2 bedrooms. And it went into both rooms. But that house was just as comfortable as could be.
Well, every house I grew up in Malta or Morocco or Malta or Morocco, the walls were always a minimum 3 foot thick. And when we moved to Nigeria, the bungalows were all a double cinder block walls. You had
Yeah.
2 layers of cinder block. And one, they didn't fall down. And 2, those hollow spaces in cinder block were hella insulation.
Yeah. Josh says, in ours, it's the Cali expats moving to Texas and buying land in Arizona and trying to have it delivered. Yeah.
What's coming in hot?
Yeah,
so
it's delivering.
coming in about 30 miles an hour.
Hey, did you ever visit the first log cabin in Dallas? It's downtown Dallas. Yeah, downtown Dallas. I mean, like in the business district downtown, and it's this little 1-room log cabin.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out why it was such a big deal. And then it dawned on me, it's a log cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did they get the wood from?
Cross timbers.
They had to import
No,
it.
cross timbers. Cross timbers was a
yeah.
huge old growth
Yeah, but they
just east of us.
It's funny because there it is, and I was like, big deal.
Well, if you ever go up to Panhandle, that little museum up there, the house that houses the little museum,
Mhm.
is the original ranch house for the 101.
Yeah.
And that was the
And
first wood house built
And they had to import
in
the
North
wood.
Texas, and all that was wagoned in from
Right,
Kansas.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. Joel makes a good point. Says Leeds makes no secret that many of the techniques are ancient, even buzzword focused on traditional methods, quote, quote, as such.
If I could, Rita, for all that she's small, loves high ceilings, and I'm a big fan of high ceilings. One of the things I don't understand about American houses is one, there's never enough light in the rooms.
Yeah.
And two, the ceilings aren't very tall.
Yeah, you're looking at modern houses again.
Well, that's all I've been in.
Yeah.
Well, we've got one of our the last family house we've got down in Louisiana has 12-foot ceilings, 10-foot windows, and it's also cypress.
Yeah.
And
But the older houses I've been in have been fantastic. The
Yeah,
newer
yeah.
houses, there's not enough light. What is the American aversion to light?
It's not. It's just that they figure they can replace it with electric.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
Well, it's not even electric. I mean, this house Jim's in's got more light than most modern houses I've been in. Apparently, they think you're going to stack the room full of lamps or something.
oh, that's part of it.
Hang some damn lights on the ceiling. Put some 100-watt bulbs in there for bloody sake.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't have 100-watt bulbs.
Yeah.
Got
Not you have to get
my fuzzy Gaelic ass.
the new 15-watt fluorescent
Yeah.
green ones because
Yeah, John makes a good point. They're based on designs for cold climates, not
Yeah.
Texas. The
Only-
other thing we've got
what are
is
you doing?
that house was a dog run house. So the central hallway is about 12 feet wide
Mhm.
with double doors on each end.
Okay.
And then 3 rooms off each side. Well, now 4 rooms off each side. Because the last edition in 1906 was to put a bathroom on one side and a kitchen on the other.
Mhm.
But you open those doors and open the windows, and even at 100-degree heat, it's fine.
Well, the Riads in Morocco, fantastic. And there's a similar design in Malta. I don't know that it's actually got a name other than the house. You've got a central courtyard that's usually fairly large, with a fountain in it and vertical slat ceiling.
Yeah.
That was open to sky, but it was 12-inch wide boards set 6 inches or 4
Yeah.
inches apart. So there was shade.
Yeah.
And then the fountains would provide cooling.
Yeah.
And then you had a 1 or 2 story building around the central courtyard that folks lived in.
Yeah.
But a lot of the day-to-day activity took place in the
Bought incandescent I bought before the law changed. I could make you a deal for a small fee.
there are some sunlight spectrum LEDs I really like, and you can
Yeah.
get the 100-watt equivalent sunlight spectrum LEDs.
You're
Just
not allowed 100 watts. Too bright. It's too not green.
well, people can kiss my fuzzy Gaelic ass.
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
Well, you
Yeah,
get
that's-
100-watt LEDs, but you don't get the color spectrum that you want.
If you get the sunlight one, it's close.
Canada sent us a letter about your meat and 2 veg.
They'll get over it.
Yeah,
Again, like
John,
everybody else, not a one on the scene. My meat and 2 veg.
Jim just about tripped over the cable, so that might have been a partial disconnect there for a minute. Sorry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, LED. John says the LED lights skew the color of fabrics.
Bad,
Oh, yeah.
bad. Like I said, the sunlight spectrum is acceptable to me for reading, and just I've got a crap eye. My left eye, which sadly is my dominant eye, has had a vein occlusion and a stroke in it in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Damn it, these 15-watt bulbs in rooms are not enough light for me.
Yeah.
You're also getting old.
Well,
Yeah, well, there's
Yeah.
that.
yeah, they're fuzzy backside.
250, please.
No full moons brings out the werewolves. Sarah Singleton, it's a damn good thing you didn't report that because that thing had mercury in it. She busted her curly bulb.
Oh,
Yeah, you have to.
If you'd have done that in the States and reported it, the EPA would have come in and
Yep.
cost you thousands of dollars to clean it
to
up.
remediate it.
It's hazmat.
Because, and somebody, I don't know if the law got changed because that one guy wound up with $10,000 worth of remediation because he broke a compact fluorescent light bulb.
No,
And that
no,
was just stupid.
there's no remediation because the
When Obama
It's got
decided,
mercury in it, so yes,
Right.
there is. Technically, there is.
well, no. I mean, getting rid of that fine. That went through the courts during Obama's administration.
Did it?
They weren't gonna. They created that regulation.
Yeah.
They stopped production on all regular incandescent bulbs, and they didn't care if they get we got an extra 10 grand.
Yeah.
well, I don't understand why they didn't realize that those compact fluorescent bulbs were going to wind up in landfills everywhere, and they've got mercury in them.
Because they don't think.
So in about 10, maybe 20 years, they're going to be screaming about the high mercury content of landfills because they're full of the mandated idiots compact fluorescent light bulbs.
Oh, but no. These light bulbs last forever.
The
Well,
hell
that's
they
the
do.
problem is they don't.
No, they
The
don't.
hell they do.
No, it's one of these deals where they this will be great for the environment, and
Yeah,
didn't think
Until
about
it's
it.
not.
They don't think about these things.
Yeah.
They're knee jerking and
That's
dust
what-
pulling
I
all
swear
of
to God,
this
the
shit out of their
watermelons-
ass. And
The watermelons and the proggies have the mental ability to think ahead of a 2-year-old.
no, it's more like a goldfish.
Okay,
You
I'll
got-
give you that.
once they go around that bowl once, and everything's new again.
We're running into the same problems with the subs, where parts that were supposed to be 30-year parts are wearing out in 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
And these are not easily replaceable parts.
It's one of the deals where they had to build the sub around it.
Yeah, pretty much. So what they're doing is robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Mhm.
And parts that were supposed to be going into the brand new boats are now having to go into the old boats in the shipyard on extended MAVs, which is backing up the entire maintenance cycle. As if we had spare submarines to go around, which we don't.
It doesn't matter. I mean, once you've mothballed half the entire fleet because of budgets,
Well, yeah.
you'll have the spares.
Well, actually, no, because we don't have enough to start with.
Right? No. I'm not saying you have enough to cover. I'll cover the oceans like you need to. I'm saying for what you're able to float, you've got
Well,
spares
for what's left.
You've got a budget for one sub, and you have 54 in mothball. You've got spares.
Actually, there are none in mothballs. They're trying to figure out how to get a couple of new ones out quicker than planned.
I wonder if they're salivating over some of those diesels that are sitting there.
Yeah, that's starting to be looked at again.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, the problem, and the problem goes across the entire spectrum of the Navy ships. They've officially come out and said 335 ship fleets off the table, which
Well,
is the minimum that we came up with under the last two administrations to maintain the presence requirements that the U.S. currently is contractually required to provide under all the treaties.
I had a friend in down Galveston send me an email the other day saying that there were some Navy guys looking at the Seawolf. And I was joking. He said, "Are they planning on refloating it?" He went,
Yeah,
I'm sure there are a bunch of guys looking at U-230 whatever that's
Yeah.
sitting at the Chicago National History Museum.
505.
Probably yeah.
"Yeah, I think Hull sounds good."
We'll just get some blue tape and write English.
Yeah.
Overall the control. Yeah, but that's not just ships. That's planes. It's
Oh yeah.
it's how the LCATs, anything that's mechanized. They're
As much as I love the M3 Bradley, it's not a good platform. It's not for what it was intended. It's a crap platform.
now Arcade, Texas will never make it to rehab list because there's no hull below the waterline left.
But they're extending the Bradley, the M2, M3 Bradley, way past its into service life.
oh yeah.
Well, actually, Josh, NR1 could come back into service. and so could triple nickel and a couple other things.
I mean, there are a ton of World War II destroyers that are still on what do they call it? It's not mothballed.
It's the White Fleet. They're actually
Yeah.
not, there are none left in the White Fleet.
Aren't there? Because
No.
there's still force tankers out there. Those are World War One.
No, they're technically no longer in the White Fleet.
What
But
are
they
they?
just haven't been sent to the breakers yet.
Oh.
Okay.
I mean, we're to the point that at
Well,
least four LCS and most of the CGs are going into the White Fleet.
Well, I was looking.
The Dems don't care about our commitments via treaty, as long as they have a Marine to hold their umbrella for them. That's all that they need. And that's all they care about as far as the military is concerned.
Yeah.
I was looking at the number of U.S. Navy ships that become artificial reefs in the last
Yeah.
20 years, and with just shock. Oriskany and the rest of them that were not bad ships, now at the bottom of the sea, deliberately. It's like people are going to regret that.
Yeah, Josh, actually both Iowa and Missouri are still floating. However, Iowa was the last one in the White Fleet, and she was taken out 3-4 years ago now. So technically, no, there are no battleships available.
I'm surprised that they haven't broken it. Iowa and Missouri are pre-atomic era steel.
Well, they're both museum ships now.
Okay, but they're
The steel is pre-atomic age. It's
yeah,
not
and
radiated.
that is for things like medical instruments and
Yeah.
all the esoteric stuff. That's what they want, and they scream for it. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Yeah, like you, I'm surprised they haven't broken them down.
Yeah.
That's crap.
Josh, the problem would be the amount of money it would take to get Iowa towed around to Texas. Because you don't tow something that big with one little tug.
Oof.
That takes a fleet, and you got to get through the Panama Canal or go around the Horn, which
where's the Iowa at?
it is in Long Beach Harbor.
Okay,
Don't we have the Lexington?
Yeah, we've got the Lexington and Corpus. Yeah, Wisconsin is up in Norfolk, but she's been out of commission since World War II, basically, or Korea.
Does any other state have a medical or military department like we do? Texas has honest to God state level military department. Does any other
Well,
state?
California does.
any state that's got a National Guard has some sort of admin for it, because
Right.
technically the National Guard is a state.
Right.
They've got it. It's the level, because any state that has oceanfront technically has a navy
Okay.
as part of their guard unit. Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, we've got actual ships that are-
Merchant Marine. The state Merchant Marine is technically the state navy.
whereas we have actual armed.
Rapture goes, reactivate the New Jersey, put it in a broadside or 6 in the center city in Camden. Yeah, that would be take care of a few problems.
What I'd like to do is get the Iowa renamed to the Texas, float it up the Potomac, and say, listen.
Yes, Raptor, Mighty Mo is in Hawaii. She's moored at Ford Island, and she is a museum ship and also used to for ceremonial retirements, promotions, and things like that.
Nothing like a battleship sailing the Potomac, wheeling all 9 guns and saying, listen, we're tired of y'all dicking around.
Yeah.
I wish it's all they were dicking around, but they're
Well,
passive
actually,
ships.
the New Jersey, Missouri, Iowa could sit off in Chesapeake and just lob them in.
Yeah,
But
but
they can lob them 25, 30 miles.
no, there's something looking down that train tunnel, that rifle train tunnel, and just drives the point home. I am
Well, the
somewhat,
problem would be you couldn't get it to arm at the range they were talking about.
with something that big, who cares?
Yeah, well, yeah, you're talking.
Nine
kinetic.
of them through your marble
Even if they
building.
could get them to arm, I'm pretty sure they'd still punch through 3 buildings before they exploded.
Yeah,
I am pleased the Senate derailed that voting
The
overhaul.
HB1,
HR1.
HR1. I'm sorry.
I'm pleased they derailed that.
Yeah. Yeah, they,
Well, which was because HR1 was really a license to cheat.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean,
Well,
that's
did
all.
you read the fine print?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, they had provisions for third-party drop boxes.
Well, not only that, but it said that nobody under the age of 18 could vote. However, anybody voted between 16 and 17 would not be a denier to vote.
Right.
yeah, Raptor is 2,700 pounds a round was the standard round out of a 16-inch gun.
Yeah, there
Which
were
is-
9 of them.
Which is why they said it's a VW boat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were 9 of them.
Well, that was the standing joke back in 80s when we were over in Lebanon.
Oh, geez.
Was, the Druze were using Volkswagens and so were we. The tires were a little more compressed and a little more accurate.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah, the defeat was a beautiful thing because it was 50-50
Uh-huh.
when the vote got called. And Harris did not vote.
We should get a
And they had her
chance because
presiding too because it was
Yeah.
very important that
Yeah.
something
they did
passed.
get a chance to vote on it. I think they filibustered the hell out of it.
Well, there,
God
yeah,
bless 'em.
because they kept screaming about changing the rules on filibuster.
Yeah.
And the Republicans said, no.
Well, and that's the
That's the new battle call.
new battle call because of what happened. And,
Yeah.
it's
How dare you not get us what we want? We
Yeah.
want this toy. Well, well.
almost as incendiary or potentially becoming as incendiary as Loudoun County has
Oh, God.
with the whole critical race theory thing.
Oh, Lord.
Uh,
Did you see the video of the arrest of the protester?
Yeah.
Wow.
Arrested 2 of them.
Yeah, but one of them, they body slammed his happy
Yeah.
butt.
They arrested a guy and they had to either trump up charges or change the law so that what he was, because free speech and he wasn't inciting anything, he was just up there protesting. So they arrested him.
And then charged with trespass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something,
In a
something
public
else.
building.
Something, yeah. It's
And then the other guy bumped a law enforcement.
Oh, that's
They
it.
claimed.
They arrested him for trespass on a public property, but they had to change the hours that the building closed because
Because you only do it because it only trespass
after hours, right? And
Yeah.
it was supposed to stay open until 9, and they arrested him like at 5:45. They said, "Oh no, today it closed at 5."
Yeah, his lawyer will have a field day with that one. Loudoun County is just gone full stupid.
Yeah.
Just the level of corruption to be able to do that straight faced,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not think you're going to get spanked in court.
And say that they don't care, that they are the educational professionals and not those common peon parents.
Right?
And they're
Because-
countersuing to get the professor or the PE teacher that the courts have already made them take back.
They're countersuing. They're countersuing the countersuit.
Yeah.
Yes.
The judge ordered them to rehire the guy they fired, and
Yeah.
they're suing the judge.
Yeah, they'll just keep pushing it through court until
Spaghetti.
yeah,
See what
until
sticks.
somebody goes, you know what, I am so sick and tired of this.
Yeah.
Make it stop.
Well, they're all under recall, but they're all fighting him.
Oh,
And Sarah Singleton says, I wouldn't trust Ted Kennedy to drive anything. Yeah, point.
how did Ted Kennedy show up?
Although, if you haven't driven a VW, they float.
That was a
This is true.
National Lampoon ad.
Yeah.
By the way, it was beautiful.
Was it a National Lampoon or was it an actual VW
No, it
ad?
was.
It was a Lampoon ad
For
that-
years, I thought it was an actual, but it was an actual Lampoon ad.
but went viral.
Yeah, it did.
And VW was like, this is better than we could have ever
Yeah,
come up
yeah.
with.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you remember that VW ad in the 90s with the terrorist?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
For those, they had this wonderful ad. It's a guy, this Middle Eastern guy, in a green field jacket and a schmog,
Yeah.
driving along in the VW Bug, and he pulls up to this building, and you see him. He just takes a deep breath, and he pulls up this switch and hits a button, and it pulls away, and there's and nothing. There's this flash, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's VW built strong.
Yeah. The car kind of jumped a little bit, but that was it. Yeah, that ad did not make it to the United States.
Oh, it lasted about 2 days.
Well, yeah.
And then CARE lost their ever-loving minds, and
Yeah.
VW went, "Oh, we will take it down."
Yeah.
VW's had some of the best ads. on
Care.
Pimp the Auto,
Yeah.
CARE is,
a terrorist organization.
yeah, why they're still out. The only reason they
Why
exist
do I
at
have
all,
a candidate in Congress?
Yeah.
yes, why they're allowed to exist at all is beyond me, because they're only there to siphon money to terrorist organizations.
If I was feeling optimistic, I'd say they were there because it would make the pickings easier. If you have this terrorist organization and you let it exist, you just arrest anybody that. Well,
Yeah.
if something happens, you go check out the member.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
problem is,
It gathers all of
the problem is
One place.
all the coals in one
Yeah.
place,
it's like the American Bund in prior to World War II.
right?
Everybody who belonged to the American Bund was an idiot, and a
Yeah.
useful idiot, because the real spies were as far away from those as they could get.
Well, it wasn't everybody that in the boot. It was half of them were federal agents.
Yeah. They were the only ones keeping
that
it
was-
alive.
That was the Communist Party.
Oh, it was
after.
both of them.
Was it?
Yeah. During World War II, the National Socialist Party, there was one in the U.S. The Booth Party were useful idiots and federal agents.
Right.
And they did a study in the 80s and said that if it hadn't been for federal agents, both of them would have collapsed because the federal agents were literally the only members
Paying dues.
paying dues. They had gone bankrupt
But I mean, that's
because
it.
those idiot man beards.
The thing, so you look at CARE now and you're like, well, okay, everybody that we watch walking in those doors, we can pretty much cross off a list.
Yeah, as far as the Baker being sued again, yes, that was a setup. Raptor.
They admit it was a setup.
Yeah, they said a lawyer approached them and told us to order this from him.
Yeah. And
And
so,
a lawyer that tried to sue them before and got slapped down. So
Yeah.
he found somebody to do it for him,
Right.
which is unethical as all get out.
it was basically, you're right, Josh, it was inciting, but it was done purposely so he could be sued again.
Again, by a lawyer who's on file on public record saying he's going to make this guy.
No, this lawyer,
He's
Has
sued him
found
3
it.
times already.
this lawyer found a cash cow.
Well, the
Well,
left,
he's losing.
Yeah.
Well, he's still getting paid though.
yeah, it's all
Forget it.
woke money.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to remember, he's still finding woke idiots to pay him.
Yeah. Well,
So he's going to
also,
continue to do this while as long
also
as he
under
can make a
federal
paycheck
law,
on it.
if it's a civil rights lawsuit, the feds pay the attorney fees.
Not unless they're told to.
And it's a lawyer. He's told
Yeah.
the judge it's civil rights, so he's getting paid by the
Right,
feds.
right. Well, he's either finding people with money. He doesn't care about.
Oh yeah,
Or
and
he's-
he's getting money from the feds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's how SPLC's made so much money.
so there's
Yeah,
poverty
It's
law
taxpayer.
center.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
taxpayer money. Because every time they file a civil rights lawsuit, the feds have to pay them.
Yeah.
For all of their time,
Yeah.
which
All of their quote unquote time.
is another idiot law that needs to
So-
go away.
So this poor businessman is fighting suit after suit after suit because there's a lawyer that's found a paycheck.
Well, it's like Sarah Clitheroe posted this morning. If you don't toe the woke line, you're racist now.
Oh yeah.
So we're all 3 racist.
Okay.
No. We're racist because they judged what color our skin was.
No, even if
Well,
you're
both ways.
white and toe the line, you're okay.
No, they'll eat those too.
Yeah.
Eventually they'll eat those too.
Who was it? She played the redhead receptionist on The Office. She was an actress, and years and years ago, she's in her 30s now, and years ago, when she was in her teens, she attended a cotillion or a coming out ball or a
Right.
debutante ball, right?
That's
No,
that.
that was when she was 19 years old. Yeah.
That's that.
Right,
That's
and,
something women do in the South all the time.
The history of this ball, not once you went, but farther back in the history of this ball, it was segregated at one time.
Yes.
Yeah.
All cotillions were at one time.
Yeah.
Right. So because at one point in the balls in the cotillions past
God's sake.
was segregated, and she went to it as a teenager. She had to apologize. The woke crowd found out about it, and she was stuck having to grovel.
Well,
in
the interesting
mud.
part of that was, which I don't know if it made the media mainstream. I don't think it made mainstream media, but that cotillion, debutante ball, was actually integrated in the early 1970s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because at some point in its past,
Kemper, yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Sarah.
Ellie Kemper, or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Every cotillion in the South was segregated. Well, probably in the U.S., but I don't know they have cotillions outside
Yeah.
the South. Was segregated at some time in the past.
Yeah.
However, in the 60s and 70s, they were desegregated. I've seen plenty of African American teenagers coming out of cotillion.
Oh, except now they're going to resegregate them because that's what the African American
Separate but equal is.
Johnson is dancing a
Bastard.
jig in his grave because of that.
No kidding, right?
And Josh asked, what's up with the Hugo board resigning?
The
Oh,
second time.
oh, that's
the
good.
second time.
Tell, this is
All
great.
right, okay, Discon was
Get
supposed,
woke, go broke.
they were supposed to be in DC this year.
DC, were they? Oh, yeah, they were, weren't they?
And the hotel that they were planning on having it at didn't allow them to have actually the hotel went under. So
Yeah, the
they
first
didn't-
hotel just went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they did not have anything in their contract to get a refund. So they lost all the money. So plus the whole, the whole woke crowd of going with, well, we've got 62 contributors to this fanzine. And if they get nominated for Hugo, we want them to all get a
All
Hugo.
62 have to get a Hugo.
And we want them to come to the parties and we want them to be recognized on stage.
Unfortunately, the same wokies who are all about the COVID restrictions don't realize that A, the DC fire marshal says you only have X number of people per room.
Yeah.
And B, the DC fire marshal said in this age of COVID, you have to divide that by 3 or
Yeah.
something.
Right. It wasn't the DC fire marshal, it was the CDC.
Yeah.
The CDC said you are only allowed to have X people per room, and because of COVID, you're only allowed to have 15% of that.
Yeah.
So now when you have 62 swinging dicks, maybe or maybe not contributing to your fanzine, and they want all 62 on stage to get all 62 Hugos, CDC says, which they were quite happy with 6 months ago.
The first group of people running the Hugos resigned. And that took out most of the professional con runners.
Yeah, and they noodled the resignation.
Yeah.
They had a very woke resignation letter.
So they got a second group to come in.
We didn't know what was going on. They found enough,
Well,
enough people that hadn't read the writing on the wall.
Yeah. So they had to try to cobble something together, which was not good enough for the wokies on the left again.
Well, the second group said, sorry, but we can't get around the fire marshal and the CDC limitations.
Yeah.
And this wasn't good enough because you have to pull exemptions to the CDC and fire marshal out of your ass and waive them so you can have all 62 of your idiots up there on a damn stage.
Yeah. When they said you could have 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
And 1 could speak. And
it wasn't good enough.
They were trying to address the issue of the pre-party, which they were still pushing to have everybody at, which, oh, by the way, the con committee has to pay for.
Well, not only that.
You know what? If they had called it a pre-protest,
Well, no,
they would have been able to
but,
have all 62
okay,
people
here's
there.
your ballroom. You can have, it's a ballroom. Fire marshal
We're
plus
having-
CDC says you can have 42 people in there.
No. We're having a mostly peaceful protest. Therefore, everybody can be there.
Gotcha.
So what they ended up with was, among other things, the size of the font on the slides,
Yeah, they were
the
arguing.
number of people that had to be represented on the slides, the fact that you could only put 35 people on the stage was not enough. And the second group of Hugo people went out of here.
Yeah,
we're gone.
right.
Bye-bye.
They cut sling
Do you
load,
remember? I don't know if
and
a lot
they
of
weren't
people
polite about it either.
have studied this, but if you ever study the peace meetings at Freedom Village in Korea,
Yeah, Joel, you're exactly
for
right.
years and years, all these, because they meet every year, and 1 year the North Koreans would say the the table flags, the ball needs to be this high, and it would be, or it would need to be this big, be just a little bit bigger than ours.
Yeah.
So we would spend the entire that year negotiating peace, arguing over how tall our flag sticks could be versus theirs, and their little ball on top of it. And this is what the woke are going on about.
Oh, yeah.
And on top of that, somebody still brought up the fact that there weren't enough wokeness on the nominees.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, you're the only ones that A, care about it anymore, and B, are putting up any names. So how can it not have enough wokeness on it?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of us sad puppies are laughing our butts off.
Yeah. As we collect Dragon Awards and go on down the road. And on that note, we've wasted another hour of your time, folks.
Holy gods, we have.
Next Tuesday, due to scheduling issues, we'll be on at noon again. So,
She's working.
yeah.
Yeah, I've got overtime.
So just remember that and check Tuesday, either my MeWe or my Facebook, and see which one. But anyway, we'll be doing it at noon on next Tuesday. So y'all take care. Have a good weekend. Say a prayer for those families down in Florida. That's going to be just a friggin' horror story. You know?
Ooh, Cedar may be on the podcast Tuesday.
Yeah, hey, come on up, Cedar.
Guess who's getting shanghaied again?
Tuesday is the 30th, right?
29th. All right, folks.
We Shanghai people left, right, and center at Collins and at podcast. Just get used to it.
All right, y'all have a good one. Be safe. Have a good weekend.
Be safe, guys.
I'll go check, Sarah. I thought I'd already answered that.
What was that?
She sent me a question on me.
Ah.
All right, y'all be good. Remember, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff. See ya.